Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin and King County officials are expected to outline a new directive on using face masks in public. So far, the Washington State Department of Health has recommended we all wear masks in public, but has not required it. As soon as there is any announcement, we will let you know what it is. Amtrak is now requiring passengers to wear face coverings on its trains. The new policy that starts today states that you have to wear them in the stations, on their trains, and their buses. You can take the masks off only when you're eating in a designated area in a private room. Small children are not required to wear masks, but to help with social distancing, Amtrak is also limiting bookings to 50% of its capacity, and it's restricting some seating in rail cars. Starting today, major air carriers, including Seattle-based Alaska Airlines, will now require all passengers to wear face masks. American, Southwest, Spirit Airlines going to do the same. They're making face coverings mandatory to help stop the spread of coronavirus, obviously. Other major U.S. airlines have similar policies in place. Alaska, Southwest, American Airlines will supply masks to you if you don't bring one to the airport. No matter which airline you fly, starting next Monday, anyone flying out of SeaTac will need to wear a face covering. The Port of Seattle announced that today for both travelers and employees. The only exceptions, young children and people who cannot medically tolerate facial coverings. The coronavirus is striking deep inside the White House. At least 2 staffers close to the president and vice president testing positive. Dr. Fauci, the head of the CDC, and other top health officials now in self-quarantine. NBC's Jeff Bennett has the latest.
This morning, the coronavirus crisis affecting both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue. White House sources shooting down reports that Vice President Mike Pence, who chairs the coronavirus task force, would self-quarantine after his top spokesperson, Katie Miller, tested positive. She's also married to one of President Trump's top policy advisors, Stephen Miller. White House officials telling NBC News the vice president continues to test negative and has no restrictions to his schedule. On Capitol Hill, Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander will remotely chair a hearing focused on safely returning to work and school after one of his staffers tested positive. 3 of the top witnesses for that hearing, Dr. Anthony Fauci, CDC Director Robert Redfield, and FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn are also self-quarantining and are expected to appear by video conference.
It is scary to go to work. You know, I was not part of the White House in March. I think that I'd be a lot safer if I was sitting at home than I would be going to the West Wing. But, you know, it's a time when people have to step up and serve their country.
The discovery of the 2 infected staffers, including one of the president's personal valets, prompting the White House to ramp up its safety procedures. White House officials tell NBC News testing and temperature checks have been boosted throughout the West Wing. Senior staff who interact with the president are being tested daily. Some staffers in the president's residence are now wearing masks, and the entire West Wing is being sanitized on an even more frequent basis. The difficulty containing the virus at the White House, where testing is widely available, highlights the challenge facing businesses nationwide that lack those same resources. But that could get easier, with the FDA now announcing that it's given emergency authorization for a new type of coronavirus test called an antigen test. Health experts say it's generally cheaper and easier to manufacture than current methods, and the results are faster too. The FDA says the antigen test could potentially scale to test millions of Americans per day. It comes as former President Barack Obama is speaking out about the Trump administration's handling of the pandemic during a phone conference with members of the Obama Alumni Association, the audio obtained by Yahoo News.
It would have been bad even with the best of governments. It has been an absolute chaotic disaster.